Never know which way to run. Conversations with JT and
Hey, yo, as my man JT does it, man. This is Classic Conversations with JT. Hello.
And that's a cop.
And we are officially live. We're officially live, man, 8:33. Man, we rocking and rolling. But before we get started, man, as always, we need everybody to like, share, and subscribe as we're on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Twitter, Apple Music. So, Classic Conversations, man, we've been telling y'all we've been taking off and doing big things, man. And shout out to my man JT, who's on a movie set that we can't talk about, wink, wink. But shout out to JTZ, man, still living the dream.
Things,
hey, man, he's living the dream, man.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, man, if you're watching us live, make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, all those little buttons on the side, man, the smile, the wiggle, the tickle, all the buttons on that side, man. I don't know all the names of them buttons, but y'all know the buttons I'm talking about, man. The love button, the like button, all that stuff, because it helps our
algorithm.
Listen to my man jump right in, MJ jump right in, man. Keep that, you're waiting, buddy.
Yeah, because I know this shit's up.
But listen, we have a big announcement to make, right? Because like we said, man, we're on Amazon Prime. We're on YouTube. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, we're on YouTube live as we speak. So now you can rock with us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as we speak, right? We're also on Spotify, Amazon Music, like I said, man. But starting tonight, shout out to Dame Dash. Everybody know who Dame Dash is, man. Dame Dash, MJ.
All right.
And America Nude Network. We are now officially streaming live.
Oh, shit.
On America Nude Network, man. So shout out to Dame Dash, the CEO and owner of America Nude Network, man. We on America Nude Network via Mommy Lounge Network. America Nude Network through Mommy Lounge Network. We are streaming live, man. We now have a billboard. Listen to what I'm telling y'all, man. Teasy, where you at? Hey, we got a billboard,
Don't
man.
tell me shit. That's why it's Classic Conversations, JT Low, and Ask a Cop.
Hey,
now
man.
I might have to get some fries in them free wings.
Listen, we got the billboard up. Around, and listen, and the billboard ain't down there, in a whole nother county, and sitting somewhere off a bridge nobody go by. The billboard is downtown Georgia State, brother. That's what I'm talking about, man.
You bullshitting. I gotta
Y'all
sit
thought
down.
we were playing around here, man. Y'all thought this was a game.
I'm excited as y'all is because I ain't know
Y'all thought
none of
this
this
was a
shit.
game. Hey, man, but I got my man. I just heard my man's on the phone, man. My man, JT. JT, talk to us, brother.
Man, why did you say we are live on YouTube?
What you said?
Did you say we are about to get down with Dame Dash?
What you said?
Did you say that we have a billboard in the middle of Atlanta?
What you said?
I tried
It
to
is
tell
live.
you.
It is live.
The price today ain't gonna be the price next week. Tried to tell him.
Try to tell him, man.
Listen, man, let me tell you. I had to call real quick. I got to get back. I want to say congratulations to us, that production team that's sitting over there right now. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
Facts.
I was talking to somebody today about when we first started this thing and how y'all came in and chopped this thing up. You bust them some dull spots. Y'all bust it out to where it's shining now. Seriously, appreciate y'all.
Got the dopest logo on podcast, man. I don't care what nobody podcast. That logo we got, man. What?
That's gonna make a nice
Hey,
t-shirt.
man. Shirts is next. So people as you're listening, come on, get in where you can right now.
Hey, JT, stop talking for a minute. I gotta tell you something, man. JT, all I want you to know is the premiere, that movie you can't talk about. I want to be at the grand opening. So whatever you have to do now, cast a couch or whatever, make sure that happens. Just make sure that happens. All right, big time. Y'all boys going big. You doing real movies.
But no pressure.
You know? Movies with the food and shit, the food trailers. He doing the big thing now, man. He ain't gonna know nobody. You're gonna still get the same seat. You ain't gonna upgrade your seat. But if you upgrade this seat, then I'm gonna know something.
They gonna know something.
I'm gonna know something now.
Nah, that's cool,
Hey,
man.
Yeah, congratulations, bro.
Hey, but for real, congratulations. I will be tuning in and typing as I can.
Right.
You know, got some other people down here that didn't believe me when I said that I had my own podcast and we got some big things popping. So now they'll be able to see that. And of course, I've already given them the scan code to go ahead and follow. So
That's
yeah,
right.
that's what it is. Wow, bro.
It's real, man.
Yeah, I'm doing my own live tomorrow. We gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna let them know.
All right, JT,
Listen,
before you
again,
sign
man, let
off.
me get off of here.
Hey, before you sign off, man, let them hear you one more time, man. Where can they follow us at, JT?
Hey, man, listen. Y'all need to follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Y'all need to follow us on Amazon Music.
Yeah.
Y'all need to follow us on, what is it? I'm sorry, YouTube Live. Let me go back. Let me do that again.
Start over.
Wait. Hey, man, listen. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Classic Conversations with JT and Lo.
Yeah.
Ask a car.
Listen. Hey, man, while y'all looking at this thing, the people that's looking at this live, y'all need to hit those buttons to the side. They're all different colors over there. There's a light button, there's a blue button, there's a red button, there's a yellow button with a heart in the middle of it. Either way, when you hit those buttons, you're going to help our
Algorithm.
They're going to go up because I've told you before.
They got
I've
me
told you
doing it right
before.
now.
You can look at the tape delay on YouTube. You can look at the tape delay on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
You can also look at it on Amazon Music. But guess what? You can look at us live right now on YouTube. And you can also look at us on the Dame Dash channel. What is it?
American New
Help
Network.
me out. What's the name of it?
American New
I knew it
Network.
was new. America's New Network. Hey,
Yeah.
man. And I'm rocking for Dame Dash because I'm in one of his movies as the OG on the yard. I can't wait to pull it up.
Yeah.
Hey, and I just
So
want to say
there
one
it
more
is.
thing
Hey,
real quick.
and real quick, if I'd have been there, I'd have said this. Happy early anniversary to my wife, Catherine. We're going to keep this celebration train rolling starting tomorrow. We're going to keep on going.
There it is.
All right. And real quick before
Again,
we go to
fellas,
break,
have a great
we're getting
show.
ready to go
I
to
will
break.
be tuning in and commenting.
All right,
Let me ask
broski.
something. I appreciate it. Hey, want to thank three
All right,
people
fellas.
that are a big part of the show that you guys don't get to see out there, and that's Phoenix. I almost said her real name. Phoenix, Ben, and Dwayne. It wouldn't be nowhere where it's at now without them. I mean, it was fun. We enjoyed doing it.
Sure.
But they put the polish to it. And they polish it up real good. So they're a part that you don't see, but that's the person that's always correcting me from the audience. And, but yeah, that's who it is. So that's the biggest part. Things run smooth. Remember, we used to say we started at 8:30 and we got in at 9:30. She corrected all that. That's all I got to say. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, true story. It's like we take your car to the car wash. You know what I mean? What's the point of taking the car to the car wash and you don't clean them tires? Hey, they came in here and shined them tires, man. They shined this project to make it sparkly. You know what I mean? They put the bells and whistles on it, threw a little smell good on the dash. You know what I mean? And that's why we're now streaming live on American New Network under my man Dame Dash. You know what I mean? We got a billboard downtown.
I'm gonna go see that billboard.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We on YouTube
I'm posting
live.
that tonight, baby.
You know? So, you know, but big shout out to our boy Dwayne. Dwayne's been here from the beginning. Rolling with us nonstop, man. You know what I mean? And shout outs to you, brother, man. We could have did this thing without you, man. Real talk. So we really appreciate everybody who's been putting in the effort. All of you guys online, number one fan, my mom, my aunt. Man, folks been rolling with us, man.
Don't forget him now.
Oh, yeah. Never forget, doggone the aunt, you know, and just folks always throwing in comments, man, helping keep the topics going when we're just kind of fishing this thing out, man. So we really appreciate you all out there, everybody in that audience, everybody who we see out there, man. All y'all folk down on behind bars, man, we just found out that y'all checking us out, man. Appreciate y'all, you know what I mean? You know, big up to you, you know? So, but big shout outs, man. We're going to go to this first break. We're going to dive into some topics, man. The first topic we're going to jump right into, man, is going to be right here in the backyard. I titled this one, The Trial of Fani Willis. We'll be right back. Classic Konversation with Jae Tea and Lo. Told y'all it's gonna be nonstop.
I see you still got the tag on it. I see you.
Yeah, gotta let them know.
Yeah, still got the scan on it.
Got the skin. Gotta let them know it's brand new. You know what I mean? Brand new, that means it's recent. That means it's a current national championship. Yeah, I told him. I told him to get sick of it with this.
I ain't mad at you.
And I'm not done.
I ain't mad at you.
Oh, Michigan's done though.
That's what your mouth say. But I tell you what, you got 11 months to find out. Because for right now, MJ, there's only one national champion. Hey, yo. We back, man. Classic Konversation with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop.
And we're going to jump right in, man. Again, like, share, subscribe. Follow us on, right now, we're live on YouTube as we speak. We're live on Facebook as we speak. You can catch everything on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Spotify, and all the other social media platforms. Starting today, America New Network, we're streaming live under my man Dame Dash, America New Network, Mommy New Network. We're going to get it all right, huh? Thank you, Mommy Lounge. Mommy Lounge. We're streaming live, man, so we dope, static. But let's jump right in. Oh, first of all, really don't have to do the more introductions. I don't know if we need to do more introductions, but Dr. Cindy's in the building.
Hey.
Yeah, man. How you doing? Everything good?
All is well.
Good deal.
All is well.
So we're going to jive right in. Fani Willis, man. They had everything on live.
Ouch.
It was very intense.
Yeah.
I call it the trial of Fani Willis, even though she wasn't on trial.
Right.
But they tried to make it seem like she was on trial.
Right.
And it was more of a, and then we had to think, what do we call the trial of public opinion?
Right.
The trial. So now, so MJ, as you're ready to dive in.
Oh man, it was so fucked up on so many levels.
Okay.
One, AKAs all over the world are turning over in their grave. You know,
Shots
that
fired.
was like, hey, I'm just gonna say she did not represent the AKAs very well. My sister's an AK, and she felt the same way.
Your sister felt the same way? Okay.
The lack of professionalism, I mean, granted, it'd be different if it was anybody else. But you're talking about the DA.
Very intense. I call it the trial of Fani Willis.
And for the level,
even though
just
she wasn't on
the
trial.
verbiage she was using.
But they tried to make it seem like she was on trial.
You used to make cases.
And it was more of a, and then we had to think, what do we call the trial of public opinion?
What would the judge have told
The
you?
trial from the witness stand. Now,
That's what she was. Come on now, let's not forget.
So,
and
MJ.
she's objecting.
as you're
That in
ready to
itself,
dive in.
straight up, the judge should have. It was so. Anybody else would have been held in contempt.
Okay.
Several times. One.
Okay.
Okay. AKAs just all like over the world she just lost all of her bearings. You know.
Right.
And she's
Shots fired.
she has to be held to a higher level. I'm just gonna say that we would have been held for the simple fact that you're the DA. One of your own prosecutors should have objected if she thought it was something to object on. She was deliberately evasive. She didn't answer questions. And then you're talking about somebody that's putting together several investigations, a lot of which were on the next level. You know, she's got the rapper on trial. And criminal enterprise investigation, RICO Act. And you have a DA that's behind on taxes. And all she's talking about is how she keeps large sums of money at her house for what? To avoid the fact that you're owed the IRS money? Oh, they gonna come calling on that, and that will be Exhibit A and B and C. And just the fact, you know, she goes, oh yeah, I keep a stack. Well, a lot of people are scratching their heads like, well, what's a stack? A stack of what? Pancakes? No, she was talking about $1,000. And it's like, she was on another level of ignorant for somebody in her position.
That's a pretty strong word.
Oh, that was straight up. That was, I mean, no, I'm insulting people. Because I don't think anybody, because I put plenty of people behind bars and had them on stands, and the most hood dope boy knows to clean it up when he comes to court. And she was acting just like a straight alley cat. And that's being polite.
Wow.
What's your opinion there?
Wow.
Or Doc, you wanna?
Yeah. What you got on this one?
Jeez. So, I think what the biggest thing for me when it first came out was just the allegations of having sexual relations with someone that was part of the team, right? And I think when people are trying to connect with others in a sexual manner, what they do and how they do and what they should do is never the thought. It's just never the thought. Did she think that that would come out? Apparently not. Is it the whole was he separated and all of that stuff. And when the ex-wife came in and told all of that, it was like, do people ever think their dark stories will never come to the light, or do they just not care?
I don't even. Well, that's valid points, everything you're saying, but that's not why they did it. Why they did it was because she paid not even an assistant DA. She's paying her concubine $780,000, and that concubine, it's like, what kind of case is that? Was a felony case, and he's never even prosecuted a felony case.
Right, but I guess that's my point. Did she ever
was he not qualified?
Yeah,
not qualified is an understatement. You know you're going against a billionaire who's going to have top flight lawyers, and you're going to bring somebody in that's never prosecuted a felony case. I don't care where he taught law, what he did. He never prosecuted a federal case, and you're going after the former president of the United States, somebody that's currently going to be on the ballot. So now you're talking about you never paid for anything with a credit card. I don't know a single lawyer, and I deal with a lot of them because I do work now for law firms. And now you have a situation where you have, as a consultant, and I've never had one of them, when they pick up the tab, pull out a stack, as she put it. I've seen them pull out all manner of credit cards, but never a stack.
But wait a minute. How many times did you go on vacation with those people?
Right.
Never.
So how do you know?
Well, okay.
Right.
We're talking about when she went to lunch, all she talked about was cash. And I mean, let's not play naive here. What they're trying to do is tie her to that $780,000. If there's one dime of that, that's going to null and void her in a lot of ways, not just from this trial, disbarred. She definitely is going to get pulled out of a DA seat by the governor. But then there's something else she said. You got to go back. When she's talking about it, she made mention of holding large sums of cash. I think at one point, $15K, that's normal. I've had $15K in my house. I've had whatever. But you're behind. At the time she speaks, she's still behind on her taxes. So it's like, I'm not saying...
She's behind on her taxes, but we're discussing 45, right?
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
When you're prosecuting somebody,
Right.
I'm not just saying 45.
No
this
ducks
is
in a row.
evidence that's probably going to affect her in the other trial she's taking part in, because you have somebody that's paying somebody $780,000. He's saying, I don't know what I did with it. I used part of it to in my business, and the rest of it, what was he keeping cash around too? Now, when they start looking at it, guarantee she may not answer that defense attorney that was in there cross-examining, but when the IRS get across from them, they're going in with no Vaseline. They're going to have to account for $780K, and she better hope to high hell she didn't profit from it. So people, let's not play naive. The reason she's saying we use cash is untraceable.
Right.
So now you're trying to explain where $780K, and is there a tie-in between you and him? Was he taking you on these vacations for payback for that $780K? Come on, people. Either you're very stupid or you're ignorant. It's one of the two. You got to claim one of them.
So let me ask this, because I like to think I'm not neither stupid or ignorant. So are you telling me that you're justifying, you feel comfortable about this whole scenario based on the cash and the relationship versus they're trying to totally denigrate, destroy the characteristics and quality and experience and everything that this woman has done to put herself in this position. Her background has been in math, all the things she's done, and you're saying you're comfortable with the fact that these people are trying to destroy all that for a relationship with somebody that has absolutely nothing to do with the trial of somebody that tried to steal an election and force all these people and have these old ladies thrown out of their home. Well, no, but
Exactly.
but the scenario is based on it. They're trying their best to destroy her character to protect the character of a complete slime ball who refuses to supply his taxes,
Right.
has refused.
I'm
You know,
just saying, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
the glove is fitting
It's
quite
the same
well,
glove.
which is the
I'm
reason why they're trying to
talking about
destroy her.
When you have
Yeah.
somebody, you're gonna question the character of the prosecutor. I mean, that's a defense. Because if she's doing
What's the
something,
defense?
if you're sitting there and she's doing something illegal, it just
So what's what exactly?
well, if they can prove it.
okay.
I'll say that if they can prove it. But
Okay.
the way she came across was very unprofessional. On the stand, she was also somewhat racial in her response.
How? How was she racial?
Okay, I'm just saying this, and I'm not picking sides.
No. How would you tell me?
really?
How was she?
I'm not-
How was she
I'm not picking
racial?
sides.
Okay.
But she kept on calling them out as a black woman, as this and this, just saying as a DA of Fulton County.
No, she's a black woman.
She's a black woman, but she's trying to use it as no. That's not the typical black woman I know. The way she behaved on that stand, I'm even saying from
The way she behaved on the stand. Okay, go ahead.
I do not think at all she exhibited the black women I know.
Well,
So
see,
do you-
I think she
go
had
ahead.
to defend, right? So she had to defend herself because, as she said, I'm not doing this with y'all. Y'all trying to treat me like I'm on trial. I'm not the one on trial. So she had to defend and kind of answer what they were asking, but she pretty much was like, stop trying to, this ain't no trial. I'm not doing that with y'all. And then she had
No,
to...
but that's what I'm talking about. She has to answer those questions. When you're in that position and you put yourself in that position, first of all, you can't object from the witness stand. She was trying to run the trial from the witness stand. She can't do that. The judge, and he went on recess, he didn't want to embarrass the DA of Fulton County because he has to work with her. They should have had a change of venue anywhere on that. But the mistake she made, when you're an elected official and you give somebody that you can't explain on paper why you picked them to be the prosecutor, it's like, okay, you...
Did what?
Come on, you can't just do that. That's like you let me run the club for the night.
But let me ask this question though. Do you feel like they definitively identified the other people that was on that same case? Were all their characteristics and background, all that stuff, was that taken to the same level of scrutiny as his?
Not at all. Not one bit.
I don't
course.
know. We're
No,
talking
you
about
do.
the person
You
that was
mean
in
you
the
don't
do
witness
know
stand.
they
We're
did
talking
not.
about the person that was in the witness stand.
They did not.
We're talking about,
It
come
was
on
no,
now.
he was the only one.
No, because if there was somebody else who received $780,000 to prosecute the former president of the United States, and they had never prosecuted a felony in their whole career, come on.
Well, that's
All right.
just like the person who gets the opportunity to do it, they never really did it, and they come and knock it out the water and win the case. So you have to know it's several people that's their first time being able to do this, and then they become the hero of the attorneys and stuff because, oh man, did y'all hear about that new? Even her.
Look,
Let's think about it.
Shake
Even
this shit,
her.
wake up. That doesn't happen.
But
You don't-
It
come on,
happens.
okay, now that's like, say you're on trial for murder. You're gonna go out and get a DUI lawyer? No.
No, but what if you get a non-paid, and they kill it because
But
they
you don't
just
take a
ain't.
chance on that. You're prosecuting because let's call it what it is. You have the former president, and he may not be able to run if he gets convicted of his felony.
So why you think
So
she
now
chose?
you're
Why you
gonna-
think she
but you
chose
can-
him? Let's
but-
ask that.
huh?
Why do you think she chose him? Let's cut to the chase. Why do you think? If you don't think he was qualified, tell me out of your own words why you think she chose him then.
Call it what it is. You think? Come on now. She's sitting there. You're sleeping with somebody. That's like if I'm a dentist and I have a girlfriend who works Waffle House. Not knocking about a Waffle House. Eat there all the time. But I hire her as my dental assistant and let her rock the cooch. You know why? Because she slept in a Holiday Inn last night. Come on.
So let me ask you, MJ, let's ask this question, right? And Moretta said they're killing you on here. Trust that. Make no bones.
We're not gonna read these comments, but I know what your uncle
But she
called.
said she did explain on paper they know he's qualified. They're trying to say the cash and perks were excessive. However, she said they were personal gifts. Now, you've been on many a stand.
Yes, I
right?
am on the federal.
On every
city,
level.
On
Yeah.
every level.
Now,
yes.
you understand as your experience grew, your knowledge of what you were testifying to and against when you got on that stand, right?
Yeah.
By the time you made 10 years, you had so much experience. By the time you got to 20 years, you knew. By the time you got to 25, you know what I mean? As it developed. So, you're on the stand at 25-year veteran.
Right.
And some racist, young, white guy who's obviously looking down at you like, boy,
Right.
who do you
Right.
think you are, boy?
Right.
I'm going to ask you these questions, boy, and you're going to answer me the way I want you to answer me, boy.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I ain't been out of law school but a year and a half.
Right.
Yeah, this is my first case. I don't care you've been on the stand. You've been doing this law for 25 years. That means nothing to me.
Right.
You're going to answer these questions. These questions may not have nothing to do with the case or nothing like that.
Right.
And you're going to tell me you're going to stand there on that stand as a 25, 30-year veteran who's led troops through doors and guns and bang, and you're going to let this boy downplay you, and you're going to just sit there and just be, well, sir.
Right.
And I will answer that. And this is unbiased. And I'm not a Paul Howard fan, but if that would have been Paul Howard, Paul would have been cool as the other side of the pillow.
We're not talking about
Nah,
Paul
we
Howard
ain't
at this
talking about
moment.
Paul.
This
Okay,
question
but I'm
was
just saying-
directed to
but
you.
I'm saying anybody with that level of experience.
And I totally disagree with what you said because
I've had people attack my.
You didn't ask me.
testimony
You didn't
and
ask
say,
my question.
That's what they do.
You didn't answer my question.
They throw all the shit up in
You
the air
did
and hope
not
it sticks to the wall.
What would you
Answer
do? What
my
would you do?
question.
If I was that, I would have
What would
sat
you-
there and answered the question. What if I was her? I would have answered it just like this. We go on record. I go on the record and said, yes, I did have an affair with Mr. Wade, whatever. Then I would have said, this is what I've done. Boom. When you come out and put it out front, it doesn't have any ammunition. She should know that. But what happened is you have somebody that, believe me, I know Willis. I've seen her in action. If she was the prosecutor and somebody acted that ignorant on the stand, she would have ran up on him with no Vaseline.
But your version of what she did was
In
ignorant.
her position, it was. In her position on the stand, that was, they would not, believe me, if I would have did that as a police officer, I would have been held in contempt, and they'd have been calling the deputy chief of CID and saying, come get your lieutenant or your sergeant. When I was an investigator, come get him. He's in the Fulton County Jail. We're holding him. He's being held in contempt.
I didn't say you would answer it with the same demeanor. What I said was, would you give that person the due respect that you're thinking Fani Willis should have gave that woman? That woman was obviously belittling her.
Because she's not a citizen. She's the DA of Fulton County.
Being
She's
interrogated
representing-
by something that has nothing to do with this
exactly.
trial.
Yes, because what it does have something to do with the trial. The same way, best believe if one of those defense attorneys, they found out something that he was involved with the mob, just believe that defense attorney's ass would be sitting right there in the box and she'd be doing the same thing. It's a certain level of professionalism. I'm not even going to pretend if that was a regular citizen and you had to talk about an affair that you had, but you got to look at it. She gets on the stand as a defense attorney and she tries to say, oh, yeah, my daddy told me to keep money as a lead in building in to keep money. My daddy told me you're supposed to have money. My daddy told me I keep $200 in case when I go out if a man doesn't want to pay. That's what my daddy taught me, and I wanted to say, did your daddy tell you not to sleep with married men?
Well.
She wanted to talk about everything that her daddy taught her. I think her daddy should have taught her that. And I'm not knocking on her, but come on now.
Hey, yeah. What a perfect time to take a break.
Did I go too hard?
I can see that particular clip being chopped up real easily. So,
Yeah.
again, it's Classic Konversations with JTLO.
And that's a cop.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
No, I don't like anything.
As you can see, I'm told y'all it's gonna be nonstop.
I see you got still got the tag on it. I see you. Still,
Yeah, gotta let them know.
Yeah, still got the scan on it.
Got to skip. Got them know it's brand new. You know what I mean? Brand new. That means it's recent. That means it's a current national championship. Yeah, I told him. I told him I'm gonna get sick of it. But
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at
and
you.
I'm not done.
I ain't mad at
Oh,
you.
Michigan's done though.
That's what your mouth say. But when I tell you what, you got 11 months to find out. Because for right now, MJ, there's only one national champion. Hey, yo.
They calling me out by name. Good God.
It's a Classic Konversation with JTLO. Yeah. That's come over there.
Oh, moving on to the next topic. I love you, number one fan. I'm glad your uncle in on here.
Oh, man.
Don't wake his ass up.
So, this conversation didn't stop at all between the break.
They were beating on me.
You know, yeah, they want your mic cut a long time ago. So just a few of these comments real quick, man. So she did what any individual did. She went with the people that had her back and had the same vision. Glenn said, answer the question. This is just to take our mind off of Trump. Colleagues have dated for many years, and they already got somebody on the other side that had the same scenario, but they're not going to bring any of that stuff up.
At all.
If she was sleep with opposing counsel, that would be a problem. True. Robbie said she didn't have that burden of proof. Let's see here. Just a few of these things.
All they're trying to do is
She
get
was
a
not
change of
ignorant. She was very intelligent. She knew what words to use without being insulting. The questions were not being asked correctly.
She just opened up an investigation on herself with some of the comments she made.
They were separated and the divorce was not finalized.
But
Millennial said something along. I couldn't find that
I think the
one.
divorce
Might be on
happened
JT.
about 2 weeks ago, so she was married at the time of it. You can slice it, polish it, but she was married. People, all they're trying to do is get a change of venue so they can take Trump down to South Georgia or North Georgia. I'm not saying what, but in your position, you do not set somebody up to where they can do that. And you did that by your lack of discretion involving an employee that works for you. is now if he has the qualifications that he has and you hadn't slept with him, probably wouldn't even came up as an issue. But when you sleep with somebody and they're
But it would have still been an issue to you, though,
underqualified
right?
for that position.
But it would still been an issue to you, whether she slept with him or not. You still was gonna feel like he wasn't
no, it
qualified.
wouldn't have been an issue. The whole issue.
What's the issue,
and
that
what
she
they're
slept with
harping
him?
on is anybody that's looking at it from a law enforcement standpoint or a DA's office standpoint. I got a buddy that's a DA.
But he's just not
Assistant
qualified
DA,
whether she
let me
slept with
correct
her or
that,
not.
assistant DA. But my whole point is, when you put yourself in that position as VDA, you're the head person for prosecutions in the most populated county in the state of Georgia. You're the big dog. And you hire someone that you slept with. That's like if I hire a stripper to be my receptionist or a secretary. It's somebody you sleep with, they're not going to look at her qualifications. They're looking at you hired somebody.
The reality of it is, MJ, you know, like I know, if it wasn't for this woman, this was a black woman that's going after 45. This is not even a case.
If it
You
was
know what I
a
mean? You
white
got this,
woman going after 45, the same thing would have happened.
No.
If the white
No,
woman
it
did
wouldn't.
the same thing.
Never, ever,
All they're
ever.
trying to do,
No,
they
it
could
wouldn't.
care less who she
No,
sleeps
they
with.
care.
They're trying to
They're
get
trying
a
to- they're
change of
trying to
venue
discredit her.
Or remove. Exactly.
That's all they're trying
And
to
they
do.
did a good
They're
job.
only
Trying
trying
to
to discredit her
And they did a good
And
because of him.
And it goes into, that's why I call it the trial of Fani. Even though she's not on trial, the fact that once again, we as a people allow them to just light the fuse and we throw the bomb.
That's right.
It never
Not throwing
fails.
the ball. She
It
took the ball
is,
herself.
man.
She pulled a pin out the hand grenade.
She was a human being that had a relationship with someone else.
Hey.
That's all that was. The dude had a job. The dude had all, you know, he may not have the trial experience, but it's not like this was some ignorant guy off the street.
That's right.
You know what I mean? This was
That's
a highly intelligent, highly educated
Absolutely.
person.
You have probably
come on, man.
40-something lawyers or maybe 50 on
Doesn't
your
ma-
staff.
doesn't matter.
And then you're going to hire somebody
Was
was
he detrimental to the case? Did they show anything where he was detrimental to that
It
case?
doesn't matter. You're in
course it
position to hire somebody, and then you hire somebody that you're sleeping with, and then you pay them
The same amount. Did he get paid more than everybody else?
I haven't looked at
They
that
were all
part.
paid. They were all
Same.
paid the
Everybody
same.
the same
So
amount.
why is it an issue? Why is it an issue what she paid him versus everybody else on that staff?
Right. They all were paid
Not
the
all
same
of them
amount.
didn't get that.
Everybody was on that case were all paid equally. They were all paid
All
equally.
played equally.
That's
All of
also
everybody
documented.
on that staff was
They were
also
all
had
paid.
prosecuted a felony. He's the only one that had it.
So now so
Okay.
that's the issue then.
That's part of the issue, yeah. It makes it stand out more. You got to look at it. Okay, you only deal in cash. And then you have a situation where you pick somebody you're sleeping with to get in position to make $780,000. You're traveling with that person, and that person didn't use any of the cash you gave him. All they're trying to do is make a tie to the money she paid him, to any of it circle back to her. That's a normal question. If I would hope my attorney, if I'm on the stand, particularly when they got, you know, maybe a solid case. But when that's an attorney's job to do exactly what that attorney did. If she was white, the same thing would have happened.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
But we're gonna
not.
move. We're gonna read the comments real quick.
bullshit on that.
No, yeah, boy, we all calling that one buddy.
Facts.
Millennial, real quick, from what I see on the case, they're trying to link the Nathan Wade used the money from the state to take private excursion with Fani Willis, which would constitute fraud. Plus the fact that she has a relationship with a subordinate who has a contract through the county on her personal recommendation. Now, I don't agree. She acted ignorant. I believe she handled the prosecution properly without being scared of the widely based claims. The only thing she could be guilty of is a financial fraud. Her personal relationship is not permissible.
Correct.
That's what he's trying
Absolutely.
to prove. But
has nothing to do with nothing.
they using her as a sacrificial lamb. She did everything by the book on that case. All right.
Right.
So now, with that being said, man, it just leads us into this is February.
February.
This is Black History Month.
Yes.
So what do we do differently this month than we did last year? What does Black History Month mean to you? Does it have any significance? Does it should it have significance? And if so, what should that be?
That's a good question.
I,
Go ahead. Go on, Doc.
okay, so I think the significance of it is kind of what every person and organization and corporation or whoever wants to do is bring homage to those who have been ahead of us in life and created some milestones for generations to come to follow. So I believe making sure people of our generation who didn't get taught Black history in school, whose parents may not be even aware of some of the significant milestones that several people have created and invented and made sure that we are able to do things that we weren't years ago, that we are now. People are born thinking that we've always been able to vote, or we've always been able to sit wherever we want on the bus, or we've always been able to have a voice of our own, and we've always been able to lift every voice, and we haven't. And so if we had to ask a certain generation of people, who created this? Who did that? People just don't know. So I believe Black History Month, which should be every month, which should be all year, should be to bring homage to those that made a pathway for us now.
Okay.
Okay, and I look at it totally different. I think that they gave us Black History Month to placate us. I think the reality of it is there shouldn't be Black history all year. You know what Black history should be? In the textbooks. And it should be taught.
It should be.
And I think it's almost like it's systematic racism, because you can clearly see where they didn't want the truth to be there. It should be in history books and taught to everybody, because it's just not Black people don't know their history. People in general don't know their history. And like I tell people all the time, and they say, man, we need to go back to Africa. I said, no, hell no. We built this motherfucker. We built it on every step of the way. The inventions, the things we did. Blacks have fought in every single major conflict, starting with the Revolutionary War with Christopher Adams. You know, the Tuskegee Airmen. Every battle, Buffalo Soldiers, they're the ones that hunted down Geronimo and made a difference and made it safe after the Civil War. They wanted to use them as the fact that they know a bunch of people are going to get killed up, a bunch of whites that got killed during the Civil War. Hey, let's send the colored soldiers out there. And they sent the Buffalo Soldiers, and they did a jam-up job. There was no losses. So when you look at all our contributions, and that's just a nick. That's not even, it should be taught in the textbooks. What the Florida governor did, DeSantis, is disgraceful. And it's happening all over America. I think what it should be, we should use it for now, it should be more focal. Black leaders, I think, should get more involved and make it so the word actually does get out, because they're obviously not going to put it in the textbooks.
Yeah, I agree on that note. You know, you said something, and I see millennials said the same thing. That's where my thoughts was at in terms of what it should mean. You know, what it should come to is that, you know, the opposite of what the Satan is doing in terms of trying to remove our history. You know, is to actually teach it. You know, I saw an interview recently with what's the actor that played Forrest Gump? Tom Hanks, when he said he just heard about Tulsa and how disgusted he was. And it was like, man, that happened? You know, why wasn't that taught?
Right.
You know, and I said this, you know, way back in the day of our first studio podcast. You know, I used to say, can you imagine if, you know, little white kids and other foreign that were actually taught Black history as children, you know, the perspective that they may have with who we are, you know, because if they don't ever hear it, it's never discussed. Only thing they hear about it is when, February, and who they always talk about, the same people.
Right.
Martin Luther King, you know, Miss O'Donnell Malcolm, you know, it's the same.
Same.
It's all they get.
Same stories.
They don't know anything else. They don't know all the creations and inventions and You know, and by the way, let me throw this in real quick. Everybody listening, here goes your top 5 clue so you can get ready.
Right.
Top 5 clue is going to be, give me your top 5 black impacts, whether it be inventions, sports, whatever. Top 5 black impacts in your life. But anyway, you know, I think from, you know, the education.
Yeah.
It'll just be so dynamic, you know, and what black history, you know, I think people just kind of look over it now, you know, and the schools still do the same stuff and think that's satisfactory, and I don't think it is. I do think it needs to be more of a political power move.
Yeah.
You know, but it definitely needs to be back in you know, stress in the education system.
Yeah, I think that it's too many civil rights museums that kids don't even know exist. Adults don't even know exist. When I visited the museum in Memphis, to be honest, there were more Caucasian people in the museum at the time I visited than there were blacks. And I mean, it's if you've been there and you walk through the hotel where his room was, it is as eerie and as if you were there, the feeling, and I had never been to the museum before. This was my first time, and rightfully, I was sitting next to a couple who was saying, I didn't know this, right? And they were crying, and I remember the white man had to brace himself and turn away from his wife, and she looked like, oh, honey, are you okay? And so we can't assume that people in our age bracket who grew up were taught this also. And we can't assume that they wanted to be against us because at the time, everybody else was against blacks. And some of the pictures you saw with how they couldn't even get his body to the airplane because it was so many people in the middle of the street walking behind Coretta, it was just like, I ain't know that, right? I never saw that picture before. So there's always enough to learn that we can't even know every incident. Everything has to be teachable. So you as an individual, you with your own family, if the schools are not going to educate our kids, the next step is for you to do the education for them. You will learn things together as you teach your children. But everybody needs to take the ownership and teach who you think should know some things about what we're leaving legacy-wise and be able to not only just be a part of the conversation, because you don't really know if you can't even add into it. So you'll ask someone something about it, and they go, what's that? Who was that? Who was that?
How much of, I don't know how much time we have. What we got? How much do you think the lack of black history has caused the historical trauma of our people? The lack of knowledge of black history.
I think it's caused a lot. You know why?
I think it'll be probably about 90% of it.
Yeah.
Because I think what's happening now is, you know, and it's not just the underclass. I just, as a people, a lot of people don't know how we got there. And if you don't know your past, it's a lot easier to get hoodwinked. That's why I think a lot of the stuff that's posted on the internet by a certain segment of our population is posted because they don't know the detriment. They don't know how hard people work to get there. Like the people say, oh, I never voted. I don't vote. My vote doesn't matter. Just the simple fact of what sacrifice people did just to get that right to vote. And then when you look at things like, I was lucky, you know, growing up, going to high school, not growing up, but going to high school in Atlanta, I was exposed to a lot of things that a lot of people aren't. Like one of the biggest, if you can look at the history of lynching in America, if you ever get a chance, you can actually get the book on Amazon. But if you actually get a chance to go to the exhibit, you're gonna have every emotion you can possibly have. You're gonna feel it from total, utter disgust to rage, and that's a rage I carried with me the rest of my life when I saw that. Yeah. Anytime you deal with somebody, you know they were capable of doing this to us.
Yeah.
And they literally, the picnic, I don't know if it's room or whatever, but they literally sold cotton candy and popcorn at lynchings.
Yeah.
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 So the history needs to be
You can see a
out
video
there.
of it.
Yeah, you sure can.
But if you actually see the exhibit, I don't care where you have to go. Take your kids only if they're older, because it's going to give them nightmares. But to see that is probably the most profound thing I've ever seen in my life. I liken it to when you first saw Roots when it first came out, and you went to school the next day, and you get to school with a lot of white kids. I'm just saying. But if you see that, you really just got to sit down and I was like, just couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, it's profound, and I definitely feel like that the lack of knowledge has been very traumatic to our people, because not only do the other races don't know Black history, but our folks don't know Black history. It's just not taught, and when it is taught, it's taught as such a minuscule, and then we all say you have to educate your own, but we know there's just a lot of communities, a lot of homes. They're not getting the basic education, more or less, this education.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of them just parents not home. A lot of those parents don't know. So how they going to teach? There's people who, and there's people who live here in this city of Atlanta who don't know half of the history that's right here.
That's right.
They've never been to the King Center.
Right.
They haven't been to the African American Museum. And they, you know what I mean? It just, so
This hasn't happened.
So how are they gonna be able to teach something they don't even know?
Right.
But at some point that's why I feel like that's this Black History Month and move. You know what I mean? It just it has to be more give back. We have to be able to do more than just the life and death of Dr. King, which is dramatic, but there's
So
a
much
lot more
So
in
much
Black history.
I would like to see more pushback from our leaders to get curriculums changed, particularly in states that maybe not southern states, but if we have anywhere where they're educating people, it's going to get out more. And I think a lot of the buffoonery that occurs on the internet and different things, I think once more people learn about our own history, a lot of things you just won't do.
Yeah,
And I made a couple jokes about, the Fulton County DA, but I just hate when somebody is intelligent as she is, because you got to look at Howard, then went to Emory, and she was cum laude at Howard, and so she's not a dumb woman by any stance. But the woman she presented that on the stand, that offended me. And I've seen a lot of DAs. I've seen Paul Howard, and in some ways I'm not a fan of Paul Howard, but the way the man carried himself, he walked the walk, he talked the talk. We're Black people. You got to be able to take it on the chin. You don't think there's times when I've been insulted when as a cop?
MJ,
you got to deal with it.
We got to close out. Let me just tell you this. You brought up Paul Howard a couple times. I don't care for Paul, never, but let me tell you, Paul Howard, as a Black man, would not have been, I don't want to mispronounce the word, but they would not have subjected him to what they subjected that Black woman to.
Thanks.
Just keep it real, brother.
Right.
They treated her the way they treated her because she was not just a woman, she was a Black, strong, intelligent woman that they tried their best to make a minuscule person. We gotta respect the fact that that's what they tried to do to her, bro. No matter what your feelings are, they tried to bring down this Black, strong, educated woman and tried to make her seem like she was some ignorant ghetto person that you're accusing her of. And I don't care. Listen, all that's BS aside, they would not have done. Paul Howard has had more screw ups in this city than we can possibly imagine. Right. They would have never put him through what they put her through. And we'll be right back. Come on. As you can see, I'm told y'all it's gonna be nonstop.
I see you still got the tag on it. I see you.
Yeah, gotta let them know.
Yeah, still got the scan on it.
Got the scan. Gotta let them know it's brand new. You know what I mean? Brand new, that means it's recent. That means it's a current national championship. I told him. I told him I'm sick of it. With this.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
And I'm not done.
I ain't mad at
Well,
you.
Michigan's done though.
That's what your mouth say. But I tell you what, you got 11 months to find out. Because for right now, MJ, there's only one national champion.
Bullshit with that one.
Ayo. And of course, it never stops. It's Classic Konversation with Jae Tea Calls.
And that's a cop.
And as we've been saying all night long, man, please like, share, subscribe. Hit those buttons on the side, man. The like button, the love button, the heart button. All those buttons you see on the side, man, because it helps our
algorithm.
And we need all of it, man, as we continue to push forward, man. And remember, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on America New Network and Mommy Lounge Network, man. So shout out to all the stuff we got going on. So we're going to read these comments real quick before we jump into the top 5. Finally, MJ trying to redeem with some intellect based on the Black History Statement. I ain't gonna tell you. We should just teach our history without asking permission. Hey, remember, I already told y'all what the top 5 is, so y'all should be getting ready to get those in there. We shouldn't just teach our history without asking permission. There are some groundbreaking accomplishments being made in the car industry, space, aeronautics, phone industries, etc. BHM means a lot to me because we as a people have to continue to remind America that we have accomplished so much as a people. With to teach our own children. In the play I went to, they said Black history is world history. I've always believed in teaching Black history each and every day. Our history is so rich. Let's fight on till victory is won. Same thing with one in D.C. So many, talking about the museum. Yeah, the museum in D.C., absolutely mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Black history she taught everywhere. When I was young, all our history was not known. I had to learn through Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine. Yeah. You have to educate yourself. But the only way to educate yourself, you have to know what's out there. And a lot of folks don't even know what's out there.
Right.
You know, they just literally have no idea.
Right.
Black History Month should be used to affirm we don't owe America. They owe us. We must collect the check for our ancestors. That's coming from UNC. BHM is 24/7. Most Black history is not known in every state. Virginia Black history is different in every state and not taught. Yeah, it's very brief. We must stop teaching children that our history started here. Yeah, history just didn't start here. Mom said when she was in the military, white commanders told me they knew more about Black history than she did. I think, let's see. Our family teach our children. There is YouTube and books, a library, no excuses. There's a lifetime of learning. Jews, whites, other races teach their children. Nobody can save us from ourselves but us. Now, I agree with that. I mean, they all teach their children, you know, But again, I don't think no race has been more traumatized than the black race.
And we're the only
Not
race that's
one at
criticized.
all.
We're the
Not
only
one at
race,
all.
and we're the only race that's criticized for wanting to know our history, putting it out there. Jews talk about the Holocaust over a cup of coffee. If you bump into a Jew, he's not. It's some certain races. It's okay to do, but if you're black and talk about black history, it's oh my God, why are you bringing it up? That happened, And I think that the only way it's going to change in America is through voting people in that are going to make the right choices and right decisions. I think it's not going to change. It has to change in the home. And I think part of that is we worry a lot of times about the wrong thing. But I think the push for the curriculum is one of the most important things that we should look at, because if you look at what they're doing in Florida, so you've a generation, the next until he gets out of office and they bring somebody in that's willing to change it, you got to look, it's not just there, you got to look in Georgia, some of the books that have been banned, that's throughout the nation, and I think it should get more airplay than it does.
Oh, 100%. I mean, can you imagine if you tried to ban anything in reference to the Jewish community?
Right.
If you tried to ban the knowledge of
Not gonna let you.
Imagine that Satan tried to do that.
Yeah, it's not
Come
gonna
on,
let you.
man.
And that's not.
And then you
trying
have to think the
diminish it.
majority
It's
of the
just saying
people-
our history is just as important.
Yeah, but the majority of the people that's in top leadership that would be, see, what people always say is that, okay, they say to vote, but we need to start educating those who are voters on what it is you need to put the importance on voting, like some of the laws that need to be changed that's been in the laws book from the 1800s or the early 1900s. People don't even realize that some of these laws just keep getting rolled over, because we're not educated enough to know that they don't make sense. And those are the laws that people put more focus on voting for the presidents and not Congress that makes the laws. Like, we got to understand the ones that we have to change. That way we can know, oh, you know what? We need to make sure there's a vote. Because when the budget got cut for stuff to get kicked out of school, any program attached to Black history was the first thing educators cut. But we didn't have enough fight to know that we shouldn't be, why we cutting that off? Why y'all cut out gym? Why y'all cut out music? All the stuff that kids are attached to that may want to learn more, it got cut, but then nobody votes to keep it in there. Because no one knows the laws properly. So it's so much we have to teach each other. We have to teach ourselves. But we need to sit around. If you're the smartest one in your group and in the room, you're in the wrong group. You need to sit around people that can teach you so you can teach others. And it's not going to change until we do that. And it's not going to change till we learn how to stick with one another on a local level between families and friends and intimacy. If we don't know how to do that, the community is not something we're going to take a part in. It's going to be simple
So there
as
we
that.
go. What are your top 5, everyone? I already told you what it is. Give me your top 5 impactful events for the Black people, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever it is, politics, whatever it is, the most 5 impactful things that's come from the Black race. Dwayne, what you got? This mic on?
La, la, la.
Melinda, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Go for it. Oh, go ahead, MJ.
Okay. Mine are going to be more focused on what impacted me growing up. Number one is going to be my dad. I think growing up with those values and my dad being there and the head of the family, leading the family, my grandfather. Grandfather was a master mason. You know, that impacted a lot. Being in the church, you know, getting read the Bible, you know, going over, you know, the Word, you know, being forced to to go to Sunday school. Just from the standpoint the morals were put in to go. And I'm not going to tie up all the time, but I will talk about the next most important person, Hosea Williams. From the time I was in 9th grade, starting football, we used to go up on Candler Road, Burger King, and he'd be there in his drop-top Eldorado, pulled in backwards by churches.
With them overalls
And he might be
on.
drinking a little bit, but he said the first time he said it, I saw him, this were his exact words. He said, boy, come over here. I need you to give me something. And I walk over the car only because I was taught right in his age. Did I have a clue of who he was? No. And I went in there and got the 2-piece, fries, brought it out to him, and the history lesson was on. It started off first, it was just me. And then by the time it finished, all the way to the year I graduated, it was about probably 20 of us that would be out there at different times hanging on his words. But he talked about, you know, Dr. Martin Luther King, the civil rights. I'm not gonna say what he said about Jesse, but he talked about everything. And he backed it up and walked the walk because, you know, he didn't have the money some other people did, but he made it happen for the community. But Thanksgiving Day, which his daughter still carries on to this day, is one of the big things. I've actually served food at that, volunteered, and he did so much for the community, but he would sit there and give history lessons. And he talked about the Selma March. He talked about hearing dogs tearing flesh and people screaming, and the people that were put there to serve and protect police officers. And that's one of the things that spurred me to be a police officer, because he always asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And just having somebody that was actually a pillar, I don't think he gets the ink he should, but that's my take. Those are two people that impacted my life. There's a lot of, you know, the history that was taught is great.
So all the black history, although that was a deep and emotional thing.
Oh, well, okay.
You only have
to
two.
go back into it. Let's say Medgar Evers, the Medgar Evers story. Okay. Medgar Evers, growing up in Louisiana, and I had relatives that were involved in it, when black farmers went up against the U.S. government and won, and that's why to this day, if you look it up tonight, USDA Farmers Act, Black Farmers Act, when they went against USDA subsidies. What was happening is the U.S. government didn't tell black farmers about it, but they let white farmers know that if you don't grow corn this year and grow soybeans, they were paid not to grow corn, and they grew soybeans and made money and a profit out of it. So they essentially were growing two crops at the same time, and one of them was getting paid for by the federal government. And things like that, and growing up and hearing, you know, when the preachers and everybody would gather around my grandfather, Master Mason, and those are the things they talked about, what was affecting the black community right there. Okay, we'll go on. So, or people can chat.
What you got?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think for me would be BET. That was impactful for me growing up as a young girl. Okay. Hip hop for sure. Hip hop was big for me growing up, as it still is a part of my life every day. Oprah. Oprah was impactful for me when she came out. I've always saw myself being that motivator as I am today for many people and in my community. So the Apex Museum in Atlanta, Mr. Moore is a really, really good friend of mine, and sitting with him and knowing the history behind a Caucasian couple who actually allowed him they purchased that building across from Georgia State. And if you know the history of it, I want people to look that up and go in it. Then you'll see me on the wall as a woman in history too. That's pretty impactful. But definitely knowing that they were supportive of him getting that word out, and it is now 46 years old this year in the oldest museum in the state of Georgia. And I've done a lot of work there, and he's 80-something years old. And if you walk in the museum right now today, he'll sit there and tell you history you just hadn't heard. And I've sat there with him for hours and hours and hours and learned stuff I didn't know. So he has been one of the most impactful people to help me with Black history. And I think that's 5.
Okay.
Michael Jackson standing at the Super Bowl for 2 minutes.
That Joe got 2 weeks in a row that you won.
Yeah.
Michael
we just talked about this too. Beyonce Single Ladies video. I've never seen people act like that in my life about something, especially music. So that's pretty impactful. Number 3, the Ken Griffey Jr., the sweet swing of Ken Griffey Jr. I seen that this week, and as somebody who played baseball, it was very impactful for me. I grew up a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan. Number 2, Deion Sanders. It's, day by day, always been one of my favorite players. The more and more I follow him, the more and more I love him. I don't know why. Feels like my dad or something like that.
Oh.
And last but not least, somebody that felt like my dad and makes me feel like family, Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Yeah, man, impacted me. Cosby Show, Different World, the new Cosby Show, Fat Albert. Yeah, man. So, Bill Cosby, super impactful. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he gets out.
All right.
All right, I'm going to do this in rare fashion real quick. We got Queen Latifah, Coretta Scott King. That woman did a lot, and nobody really gives her as many flowers as she deserves.
Right.
But she is very impactful in history, even after he died, even the more so.
Right.
We have, who else do I have? Tina Turner. Her life really didn't start again until she was 40. People need to look into that because she got beat when she restarted her life.
Right.
She got going after 40.
That's right.
That woman got going.
She sure did.
Of course, we're going to have Felicia Rashad.
Okay.
That woman there, still beautiful.
Fine.
Still beautiful. So what is that? Felicia Rashad. To this day. Who else? How many was that? 3? Well, that was 4. Who we already know who the top. Whitney Houston. Bam. Don't really like the way she went out, but when she was here, she did her thing.
Yeah,
Attitude and all.
Yeah, man.
Done.
Yeah.
All right. This is my Atlanta edition. Off the muscle, Herman Russell. Built most of Atlanta. I think the family still own Castleberry Hill. First millionaire in Atlanta, Lonzo Herndon. I grew up in Herndon Homes, partially when I was younger. So we had a lot of history lessons in Atlanta. All the projects were named sometimes after certain people.
Right.
Before they became street names. My Uncle Paul, who told me never to go to jail, and I learned all the lessons of why not to go to jail by watching him. Shout out to you, Uncle Paul. You were so impactful. Whew.
That's funny.
Uncle Paul taught me not to go and showed me why.
Man.
And showed me why. That's the key part of that.
Right.
I'm telling you. Now, as a current guy, I think he in Georgia, Derek Bailey. He is the electric car guy that's actually transforming gas-powered vehicles into electric vehicles, so people that cannot afford the cars can get to electric less costly than buying a Tesla and stuff like that. So you can have your same body and you turn your car into an electric vehicle. A lot of people don't talk about that, but he's really doing big things. And Dr. I hope I pronounced her name right, Dr. Cyan Proctor. She's the first black commercial woman pilot. Yeah, mission.
Pilot.
She works for SpaceX, so she's been up in orbit at least like 10 times now, and she's the first one to ever do it commercially. Even now, she went down to the Arctic to see some penguins. Like I follow her story. I've been following her story for like 4 years now. So she's amazing. I think that's 5. And shout out to you, Uncle Paul. If you're watching, man, we glad you're home, man.
Glad you're home.
Paul Alford Jr.
Oh, man. That's classic.
Uncle Paul.
All right. So I might just throw some of those down, Dwayne, because they just keep, the more they chime in, the more I keep losing them on my chat, trying to get everybody's comments. If you can find my unks, 'cause that's what I can't find here. But I'm gonna read my Aunt Olena first because I always miss hers last. Carter G. Woodson started Black History Month, absolutely. John Lewis and M.L. King marching for freedom. George Washington Carver, many inventions, facts.
Yeah.
Include peanut butter. Mary McLeod Bethune, pioneer educator, college founder, set standards for HBCU. Barack Obama becoming first black president. Jackie Robinson facing all he endured to be the first African-American Major League Baseball player.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Number 1 got Helen and Joseph Bracey Sr., the main folks who impacted everything. No one or nothing else comes close. Let's see here. I can't find Unks. He was first, but I can't find it on here now. My mom got Sidney Poitier, Mahalia Jackson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, President Obama, Helen and Joseph Bracey, the Portsmouth City League. It said Dr. Sidney for the young generation. Oh, Helen and Joseph Bracey, Dr. Sidney Civic League.
Yeah.
Kiki got the election of President Obama, the creation of Black History Museum in D.C., D-Wade's Hall of Fame speech, okay, the Montgomery Brawl, the hat,
Yeah.
and being led and loved properly first by the amazing black man, her daddy. All right, respect.
Okay.
Number 1 threw in voting rights, fair housing, and civil rights. Robbie chimed in, her grandmother, Angelo can attest, absolutely. The Obamas, Rosa Parks, women's rights, freedom fighters, Malcolm X, Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
Good.
Good one.
Let's see here. I think I got most of them. I just can't find Unks. I'm trying to go back to find it. But he has disappeared somewhere. But I agree with, oh, there you go. Jackie Robinson, World War II, the Voting Rights Act, LBJ, and President Obama. I hope that's everybody's. I can't see yours. I can't find JT's page. I know Todd Vick would chime in something. I couldn't find none of his comments on here. So if you see Todd Vicks, let me know. All right. So I'm gonna go with my man Malcolm X, and not just to Malcolm X. I'm gonna go with, the Muslims and that and the whole organization structure, right? Just because it gave black people another view, another vision, a sense of strength, a sense of power that wasn't recognized. And then what Malcolm X did with it, is unfortunate, the outcome, but, I'm a Malcolm X fan. Okay. And I've read and seen about everything. If I see something, if they got a Malcolm X store, I'm going to sit down. I just love the accomplishments and the way he moved. And so, anyway, Malcolm X is definitely one of mine. I want to go with the Black Panther movement. People don't give the Black Panthers credit for some of the things that they started and created, and was taken from them and made them look like thugs based on actually helping people.
Right.
Right.
Rebels.
And trying to look out for their own neighborhood. Right. The things that we be saying, give back, take back, and all that stuff. And they were doing all of it.
They did it.
You know what I mean? Free lunch. Where it come from?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I'm going to go with something you mentioned, hip-hop.
Yeah.
I mean, hip-hop darn near put the world on another axis, man. I mean, it's, it changed just about everything from every race and culture across the globe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I saw a video the other day, some Japanese guys rapping. Didn't know nothing they were saying.
Yeah.
But it sounded hot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but Jam, it was like, I mean, what can you say about hip hop?
Right.
And then I'm just gonna tie in, black sports icons, Jesse Owens, to do what he did amongst all the criticism and scrutiny and going over to Germany, knowing that people hated him, treat him like a monkey and all that stuff, and just to dominate the way he did. The Muhammad Ali's of the world, who stood for something and wasn't taking nothing from no one, And it's amazing how some of these great heroes are great heroes now, but they were all hated back then.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't getting the same love, respect, and admiration, you know, but they went through it and held a lot of candles. You know, Jacket Joyner Kersey, you know, Flojo. I mean, the list goes on and on, but just some of these athletic moments, you know, being the first black to do this and the first black to do that.
Yeah.
So, and then last but not least, man, you know, I got to give it to, you know, my historic moment is my mother. Y'all know how I feel about my mom.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But, you know, I was asked on the panel the other day, the thought was that, you know, some people you have a certain amount of strength and thoughts and not from, you know, two-parent households. But you know, yes, my father's still here, but I was raised by my mom.
Right.
And I saw the sacrifice. I saw what it took, you know. And to raise 3 boys and to have everybody become their own man and their own rights, and now, so I mean, but I give all props to my mom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, you know,
Aw.
and right behind that is, of course, her parents. You know, the Helen Joseph Bracey. You know, my father's, you know, Vanderbilt T. Sykes Sr. and the religion, the praying, the pray. You know that song, I got a praying grandmother. You know what I mean? I really did.
Okay.
Praying grandmother, praying aunts,
Makes a difference.
praying mothers, praying family.
Yeah.
So just the strength of that family, and I'm ever so thankful for the family, the whole family network.
Man. You
There
know,
it is.
And that's dope because I asked you that the other day, and I was like, "There's not many people, but let me give homage to you. You
Okay.
are Black history here in Atlanta. You have been around serving and giving people opportunities." And some of the best, they could be wherever they are right now doing whatever they're doing. They had to come see you, bruh. They had to come through you. They had to understand that. And I don't think I will, as a friend, give the homage, because when great men are in the presence of others, people should always acknowledge that. You are dope, dope, dope. I mean, it doesn't even know. So you are history here in Atlanta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I'm humble. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Hey, listen, it's been an outstanding show. I think we covered just about everything we wanted to cover tonight. Some great moments. You got anything planned upcoming real quick?
Yeah, so we are closing out. I'm doing a Black History program on the 29th, which is leap year, so that's exciting. It doesn't happen often. And then we're going to let you guys know when. We'll double back and do that live show again sometime next month. We'll get it all together, but that's
Dope
all
show.
I got.
It was a dope show, dope live show we had the other day. MJ, what you got, brother?
Just like to say this, I'm not Republican, I'm an independent. But I think what we have to do as a people is have more conservative thinking. And I'm going to be the conservative voice all the way to the end on this panel. A lot
Yes,
of what
you
I
are.
said on this show about what the wall was going to do, and now you see the people coming to the wall don't look like they're Mexican. Who's coming to the wall? You got Asians, you got East Indians, and they're flying over for $25,000, $50,000 to get to Mexico and pay that so they already paying for a $4,000 or $5,000 flight for them and their family. Then they're coming through on the border. They're skipping all the channels to get into the country. These aren't poor people coming in. These are people that have the means to start businesses in America. Well, face it, what do most of them vote? Republican. Okay, you got Ukrainians coming over. What are they? The ones that are going through the border, sneaking in, they can't get in legitimately. I'm not even talking about on the terrorist tip. I'm just talking purely on the tip. These are people that are coming in and gonna vote Republican. Okay, so when I said the wall doesn't matter, the wall doesn't matter. Okay, once our voting strength is diluted, and we're gonna end up being number 3 in our own country, because we're already number 2, and they're gonna lap us pretty soon. When we're number 3, you think a country that everybody's, oh, they're racist, they hate us, they hate us, they hate us. Now we're number 3. Our vote doesn't matter. keep on telling. I've said it before on the show. We're the new cotton. They're going to be picking us for a commercialized prison system. It's multi-billions of dollars, and then we're the largest consumer. So before you just want to jump on the Democratic bandwagon and bag Biden, think. Just think about it before you cast your vote and vote locally.
Just real quick, thank you for that last part, because I was about to say Biden the only Democrat running, but okay. But yeah, think locally. Okay, so real quick, man, I gotta read this. I'm sorry, but this is too funny. Millennial said the first woman to twerk in Uncle Luke video as the first black mama to say close my door because you're running on my light bill. Oh, real. The first mama to say I'll slap the black off you. Super real. Too funny. Real quick, Glenn, I just saw your comment. Arthur Ashe, the great tennis player.
Way to red and let the young go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way to red and let. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way to red and let is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way to red and let is gonna. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Low. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations.